everybody.
Welcome back to the Chill Spot Podcast.
Welcome back to the Chill Spot Podcast. I'm going to start our timer really quick. There we go.
Nice. Good stuff. Good to know.
A little bit of behind the scenes content for you.
Yeah. So how has your, technically 2 weeks been, Sam?
Right, because we had the Cat and Dare episode in the can,
That's
so
right.
we didn't have to record last week.
That's right. We didn't have to talk to each other for a week.
Yeah, I just straight up ignored you in your own house. It was great.
I mean,
so
going to different spaces is great. I mean, we're a couple of introverts. We spend a lot of time together.
Yep.
Got to get away, you know?
Yeah.
I got to get away.
Had a little vacation from you.
Yeah.
Were you quoting Lenny Kravitz just now?
I had to fly away.
Yeah! Yeah!
Ah, fly away!
I want to get away! Yeah, no, it was good. We actually spent more time together.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I didn't get away from you. I actually spent more time with you as we worked on Chill Spot a bunch. Also, like a bunch of stuff. Like paid gigs came up that I had to take, and that felt really good.
Very artistic.
Yeah,
good for you.
We're trying to set like a stronger schedule for Chill Spot as we sort of like expand into what we want it to be.
Like a real production schedule.
Like a real production schedule. And I was like, so I need this time off, and I need this time off, and I need this time off to do this thing, and that thing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, so like
everybody needs me.
You like came up to me and you're like, hey Cam, you like knocked on my office door. You're like, hey, so I need some time off to do like real work. None of this like YouTube bullshit. Okay, I'm done with reaction videos. I'm done with whatever we want.
Here, somebody's gotta be the breadwinner, and I've just decided.
And we know it's not me.
So I've just decided to step up.
We'll
Don't
get just some Popeyes. We'll get just some Popeyes. It's okay. We'll get just some Popeyes,
I felt like such a fucking sugar baby or sugar daddy coming in and being like, hey baby, I got paid. Let's go to Popeyes.
And I'm like, okay.
Get anything you want, sweetheart. You want a raspberry cheesecake pie? You get a raspberry cheesecake pie. I got you, boo.
And I'm like,
I got you. Get you whatever you want.
Can I get a Popeyes chicken sandwich? Yeah, I'll take the Cajun fries.
No, it was nice. I got paid for writing for the first time in my life. So treated you to some Popeyes, treated myself to some bulk barn goodies. I can't wait. Saturday night, we're going to watch SNL and pig out.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a grand old time.
We're going to get like real sick, get belly aches, you know, because we're in our late 20s now, and eating too much candy will result in like total body failure.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the life we live though. That's the risk that we're willing to take for Saturday night and chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, like, live from New York, it's diarrhea and belly aches.
Where do you sit on the gummies versus chocolate debate?
Honestly, it depends on my mood.
Yeah?
Yeah, I go through waves. Like, there was a time where, like, you consistently were buying me mixed gummies from Rexall, and I was getting my life. I was like, yes!
Yeah, every time I went to Rexall.
And then I would finish it, and I would get a little bit sad, and then I would come back the next week to your house after, like, going back to my house, and then you'd be like, so I bought more gummies. And I was like, yes!
It was the ones that had like, it has the gummy worms, it has the sharks, it has the root beers.
Yeah.
It has the
cherries.
The cherries. Which are super underrated.
Super underrated.
No one talks about the cherries.
They have great mouthfeel.
Yes.
They have great,
all those gummies have great mouthfeel.
The of the cherries have such a good mouthfeel to them.
The sharks have great mouthfeel because they have that yogurt bottom.
Yeah.
You know, and like super soft and pillowy in your mouth.
Just slightly different in a good way. Yeah. They're not even the best tasting, personally. Like, I don't find them to be the best tasting. But texturally, they're so good.
They have that blue taste. You know what I'm saying? They got that blue taste.
That blue flavor.
Yeah. They got the blue raspberry, which is like, that's
but then,
not,
like, the cherry gummies have real fruit juice in them. So they're, like, juicy and delicious.
Totally.
But then, like, oh God, it's honestly, I'm such a fucking stereotype. When my period comes around, I'm like, chocolate! Chocolate!
Dude, yeah. When you're on your period last, you forced me to make you a hot chocolate with pickle juice. To be extra stereotypical.
That's pregnancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pickles is pregnancy.
What's up with that? Is that just like a...
I don't know. It's just like an old wives' tale thing that went around. Like, 2 women got pregnant and craved pickles, and then everybody, like, men were just like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
And then...
Women love pickles.
Yeah.
Get your white pickles. She'll love it.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But no, Hot chocolate, yeah, good. Chocolate chips, I love it. Smarties are good when I'm on my period.
So I could just see the wheel turning. You were like, hot chocolate, good. Skittles, good. Like vegetables, like just like total Neanderthal.
It was bad. It's not good. It's bad.
Cauliflower needs to be al dente. If it's not, then what are you eating? All right, Sam, we've been thinking about some stuff this week.
Yeah.
We've been thinking about our good friends and how much we love our friends.
Very fortunate, the both of us, to have a really, really quite large circle of friends.
Well, I mean, before we really dive in, like, something I think is fascinating about you and I is that, like, people acknowledge that the size of our friend groups, like, I have, let me think, like, I have 5 really close friends. 6 if you count all of us, right? Like, we're a group of 6. And you have, like, roughly about the same.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I have... and then...
Math is hard.
And then...
We went to school
I'm
for
trying
art.
to, like, think about my group chat and how many people are in it. I have, like... that I talk to every single day. Yeah, probably like 4 or 5
give or take
really close friends.
And I think that's like not super common from what I hear. Like a lot of people after they grow up and get to post-secondary, you know, you'll have like 2 or 3 really good friends and then like a whole bunch of acquaintances. But you and I have like friend groups still.
Yeah.
And like we're not trying to say that like we're like such a rarity, but what is rare is that the 2 of us started dating and found out that we have like almost identical social circles in terms of like that dynamic.
Yeah, we have a found family.
Yes, very much so.
I built a little found family for myself because I don't have siblings, so
Right.
I like built siblings into my life. Yeah, and just like collected them.
It's kind of funny in that regard. I do agree that our friend groups are very much found family. Like I've known my 5 closest friends for well over 10 years now each.
Yeah.
Because we're all met up in high school. But we all also have great relationships to our real families. Because, you know, typically in those scenarios, it's like, oh, you don't feel like a super strong relationship to your family, so you find a found family. And that's what it is now, right?
Yeah.
But all of my friends have like, and myself included, have like positive relationships to their families.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely wouldn't say I'm like so close with all of my cousins and extended family to the point where it was like, you know, we're like
hang out with them like outside of family functions.
I mean, I love
holidays.
seeing them, and I miss them dearly in this pandemic. But like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say that we're like getting together and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess that's where I find that connection in my friends.
Like, I share things with my friends that I don't share with my family. You know how you put on airs around your family? You don't like, there's like the version of me with my friends, which is like more comfortable in my skin. And then there's like the version of myself with my family. Yeah. Which is a lot more toned down and appropriate. You know, I stopped swearing so much and I don't talk about certain things around my family. I love them, but I just don't share with them as deeply as I do with my friends.
I mean, that's understandable because I feel like there's also different strokes, different folks, right? Like you're gonna share even amongst your family. It's not like you would share the exact same things with everybody, right? Yeah. That's the way I see it anyway. Yeah. Yeah, no, like I definitely am very good at compartmentalizing my life and stuff like that, but like I do it the least with my friends. Yeah. Like the least compartmentalizing with my friends. Mm-hmm. And then probably the most around like my blood family. Totally. Just because like they're very used to like Kid Sam and like what Kid Sam was into. You refuse to acknowledge that you're now in your late 20s? Sometimes, yeah, honestly, in certain aspects. So, yeah, I just am more comfortable opening up, or like, you know, if a part of me changes, I'll share it with my friends first before I share it with my family. There are things that my family just like doesn't know that I do. Well, you're also like, it's also worth it to say that you and I are more immediately connected to our friends. Yeah. Like we have group chats that we update daily. Yeah. You know? Yeah, exactly. So yeah. I don't have, like some people have family group chats that they update daily and are in constant contact with. And I have certain family members that I am in semi-frequent contact with. Yeah. But I'm not like some people have like the entire family in a group chat, like a 40-person group chat, and it's like a whole thing. Yeah, exactly. I don't have that. It's funny. Before we dive in, my parents wanted to do a group chat with myself, my brother, because my brother lives out west now, as everyone who probably listens to this podcast knows. So we wanted to stay connected. So it's myself, my dad, my mom, my brother all have a group chat, but me and Duncan aren't texters really, and my mom and dad super aren't texters. So that group chat like almost never gets updated.
Dormant.
But like, you know, mom will send. It's funny because my mom went out of her way to get this group chat, but then we'll just send everyone mass texts.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Well, see, the thing that I don't get about that is like, she only included like you, your brother, and your dad and herself.
Yeah.
She didn't include your sister-in-law, Emma. She didn't include me. She didn't include my mom. She didn't include her brother, your uncle. It's like, but we are the people that she includes when she needs to like get that sort of message out.
So
when she sends those mass texts, like it's like you, your brother, Emma, your dad, my mom, me, and Danny, and it's like, just include us in the group chat. Like,
can we get an invite? Can we please get an invite to the GC?
Please get an invite to the group chat.
Yeah.
Like,
you
please.
just got a house key last year.
I know.
And now you're in the GC. Come on. You're asking for a lot.
I know. I guess that's a bit of a tall order, but I mean, I just think
boundaries, Sam. Okay,
you're doing it anyways.
You might be the woman I marry, and you might be living with us literally, but like the group chat. Come on.
Much. Yeah.
Come on. You already antagonized my father at the dinner table. You mean you could just? What are you gonna meme on him? You're gonna dunk on him in the group chat?
Call me out like that? I can't believe you brought up the fact that I antagonized your dad at the dinner table.
Well, he antagonizes you, so it's kind of a back and forth.
Absolutely. He deserves it. Someone's got to stand up to that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Sam, who is your oldest friend? We were talking about friendships.
Yeah. As it stands right now, my oldest friend is probably my friend Emily.
I've
known Emily since the 9th grade.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We sort of became friends because we both went through similar transitional periods where our friends that we had been friends with since elementary school kind of like went off and started changing and doing different things.
Your friends started smoking weed.
That's exactly it. Yes.
That's it.
Yes, that's exactly it. They started smoking weed and we were squares and we're scared, and all they wanted to do was like go to the seedy part of town and like find somebody who would sell them weed and like get high in some rando's basement every weekend. And we were like, that's dangerous.
Well, yeah, because especially when you're in the 9th grade, like listen, in my opinion, being a minor smoking weed is one thing, but being in the 9th grade, and you start smoking weed,
and they were doing some scary shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's all funny now because everybody's alive, but at the time, it's like,
what were they doing?
They would go to like, okay, so there's this area in my town called Chandler, like the Chandler
like from Friends
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I've driven around this area and there's still like some pockets of it that are like not great, but it's honestly not as bad as I made it out to be when I was a kid. But when I was a kid, it was like, we're going to Chandler to buy weed, and like people there, they just sit with their doors open and smoke weed, and there's house parties and drugs every
There's one guy
weekend.
who's like, doy.
Yeah. But it was known as being like the like druggy area of town. So all of my friends started going there to hang out and like smoke weed and stuff and get high and drink every weekend. And I was just like too scared to do that. And Emily was very not into that.
Because you're 13.
So, yeah, we're like 14 years old. We don't want to.
So you were a January baby, so you would have been 14. Yeah.
So we sort of like found each other in that. And Emily was very much into like Twilight and like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and like fantasy stuff. So Twilight fantasy, like whatever.
It's fantasy. It counts. It's a low fantasy, but it's fantasy.
Definitely. So we would just hang out every weekend, and then Emily knew a couple of people, and then I knew a couple of people, and our friendships just sort of like, or our friend groups just sort of like, like molded together and became one. And then I had like my friend group that I went through all of high school with, my little band of misfits. And we just went through everything together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like your friends were like, hey, we're going to go smoke weed and talk to Chandler. See you later.
We were like, that's cool. I'm going to go to Emily's basement and watch Game of Thrones and drink orange soda. You losers have fun.
Exactly. Emily like turned to you. She was like, you want to watch Lord of the Rings? Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because on that note, like I really feel like I almost wish I had a friend like that. Like, don't get me wrong. All of my friends are my best friends, and they were there for me my whole life. But one thing that I came into very late was being okay with being into nerd shit. And that didn't happen until very later in life. Through my whole high school experience, like that was something I would like talk about on like a surface level, but there was always like I don't want to alienate people, right? Can't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
Got to talk about some regular stuff and some nerd stuff.
Yeah.
And like my friends have always been on the nerd stuff for the record, but I feel like I would have really benefited from a friend who was like, I don't want to go to that party either. Do you want to go somewhere and play video games?
Yeah.
Like I would have been like, yes, please.
God, please.
That happened a handful of times, but I think that's really beautiful.
Do you feel, because like you've brought this up a couple of times, and for what it's worth, it sounds like your brother went through something similar too in high school, where he was really into, because like Duncan has gotten super into anime.
He's more into anime than I am. I'd say.
It's like exclusively what he watches. It's like anime and RuPaul's Drag Race.
What a dynamic.
Very great taste Duncan has. But like he got way into it and like went to Japan and just like nerded the fuck out. And do you feel like in high school there was a part of you that was yearning? Because like when you talk about it with your friends and you're telling the stories about like parties that you went to and like drunken nights that people had and like drama that went on, it sounds like you were into it. It sounds like you enjoyed it for what it's worth.
For what
like
it's worth,
maybe
yeah.
there was something that you would have rather been doing more, like your nerd shit and your video games, but it doesn't sound like you had a terrible time. It doesn't sound like you had to like, it didn't sound like you were dragging yourself to every party. You know, like you went voluntarily.
It was more like every other party, really.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, this is kind of complicated. So,
do you wish that maybe those two things could have been a little bit more symbiotic, though?
Yeah, of course.
Like go to parties, but like, you know, every once in a while have somebody over and play video games at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would have really liked that to have a better balance, because like in grade like 11 and 12, like every weekend was a party, and it wasn't like, it kind of wore thin on me.
Right.
Right. Well, because I'm an optimist, at least I try to think I'm an optimist, like going to these parties, like I would often have to drag myself to like want to go in the first place. But once you're there, you got to make the best of it, right? Because what are you going to do when you don't want to go to a party? Like be a bump on a log? Especially when you're a teenager and, you know, your social life and your social standing is everything. Like you're going to go to a party and like be the talk of the school for the next week? Like, no, just go to a party, have fun, drink, you know, fuck around, whatever. That being said, there were many times where I was just like, I didn't know this about myself at the time, right? Like I would feel like, oh, I'm really tired, but we'll go to the party. But me being tired, that was me trying to tell myself like, dude, you don't really want to do this. Like the only reason you want to do this is because everyone else wants to do this. And I think that's something I like held on to for a very long time and still hold on to some extent.
Right.
Like doing things like for others, but at the end of the day, I'm framing it like it's something for me.
Yeah.
But it is in service to others. Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. You're sort of like warping your train of thought.
Yeah, it's mental gymnastics, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing mental gymnastics to make it less painful for you to force yourself to go to things you don't want to go to.
But that being said, I've had plenty of experiences. And like, let me get the personal story. Like, I had a great high school experience. Like, I'm not going to try to pretend like I didn't have a good high school experience. Like, I'm one of these, like, bleeding souls. Like, I couldn't be a nerd in high school. I was only the captain of the football team. You know, it's like, okay, Cam.
Like you didn't. It doesn't sound like you suffered. Like you had to do mental gymnastics, but it doesn't sound like you suffered.
I just wish, like we're getting a little off topic, but I just wish like it is what you said, which would be more symbiotic, where it's like I could do theater and be the quote unquote cool kid, but then I can also talk about like how great the last episode of Naruto was, you know, and not have to feel like a fucking weirdo or like talk to like one specific person about it. Like I wish like we could have all been more open about the things we were interested in, because like lo and behold, anime is mainstream. You know, it's not like a niche interest. And like
it always was.
It never was a niche interest.
No,
At least in our childhood, I think it was never a niche interest.
Thousands of people. Like I knew so many people who watched Inuyasha on the weekends, and like so many people who were into like Bleach and Naruto.
Totally.
Like so, and like and Death Note.
Yeah, that was
a lot of people watched Death Note too when I was a kid. I knew a lot of kids who were into that. Like kids of all kinds. I knew black kids who were into anime. I knew like nerdy little white kids who were into anime. I knew kids who later came out as members of the LGBT plus community, who like were sort of living their truth through anime, and sort of like the more gender bent animes like were on host high school clubs and stuff like that.
What's your favorite anime?
Fruits
It's like,
Basket.
I love Fruits Basket, Oran Host Club, and Yuri on Ice.
You're gay.
You're gay.
Sorry, you're gay. Straight up. Like you don't know yet, but you're so gay.
It's so weird. Like I don't know. I just haven't found a girl I liked yet because you don't like girls. Yeah. Because you like boys. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
hate to break
amazing.
it to you, but you're trans, son.
But to bring it back around to the conversation, my oldest friend is my good buddy Brad.
Yeah.
I've known Brad for like 15, probably 16 years. We met, I think, in the 5th or 6th grade. Like, okay, I put it this way. I've known Brad long enough that my meeting of him is fuzzy because it's so fucking long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met in elementary school. I was actually, from what I remember, if I remember correctly, I was friends first with his cousins. There's cousins of his that were twins that also went to school with us.
Okay.
And then like I met him and some other people that he hung out with at the time, and like we just gelled forever. Like there was a time in high school, probably around from like the 9th and 10th grade, where like we didn't really see each other as much. We didn't really have like classes or anything. But then like 11th grade onward, like I was a prefect, he was in student council. We were both in theater from like grade 10 onward, and it was just like the rest is history. One of my earliest memories of myself and Brad is we were in elementary school getting yelled at. Like, not us two, but like a whole class was getting yelled at by this teacher. Her name was Miss Ruddick.
Doxer.
I know,
Where
right?
she lived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her first name is Janine. That's not her first name.
Okay. That was a joke. Oh my god.
I mean, maybe bleep it out. I don't know. Maybe that is her first name. I never learned her first name. But we were being reamed out of something. She was like, you guys never listen. Like, but normal. Like I also had like my elementary school teachers were fucking dog shit. And I, the whole time, couldn't stop thinking about this one Simpsons joke where like Homer would sit down like, oh, no one respects me. Well, at least TV respects me. And he turns it on, and it's some news anchor being like, you're fucking... You're such a loser. Like, that is a hilarious joke, right?
Yeah,
like that is very funny.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was like, she's like yelling at me. I'm like,
you're like thinking about it.
like trying not. And Brad was sitting right next to me, and he was like, dude, will you fucking stop? Like, what are you doing? like, and then I remember dying about it in the playground later.
Oh my god. You like went out and told him, and then he laughed?
Yeah, when he was in class with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. But no, like, you couldn't tell him while the teacher was yelling.
No, of course not.
So afterwards at recess, you went out and you were like, it was this. And he was like, ha!
Because when you're a kid and you have 3 brain cells, sometimes there's one thing that just takes over all of it, right?
Yeah. It's just all consuming.
It's literally all consuming. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's so
and
funny.
Just that one moment kept playing over, and I was like, oh my god, oh, that's so fucking funny, Jesus Christ, because that's kid shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, I remember the first time I ever like met and like I remember the first time. It's not so much the first time I met Emily, but it was like the first time I was aware that Emily existed.
Yeah.
It was grade 9 math, because that was where we met. We had grade 9 math together, and I've told this story before, but my grade 9 math experience was like weird. I didn't really get a grade 9 math class because typical public school system. They were short on teachers, so they literally didn't have a dedicated math teacher for the amount of grade 9s that were coming in that year. I had a large class, so they just kind of like doled out math classes to like someone similar. So like grade 9 academic math, which is what I took because I was, or sorry, not academic, applied math, because that was the one subject I was bad at.
Sure.
They were like, okay, we don't have enough applied math teachers to go around, so tech teacher, you use math in your work.
Oh no.
So here's grade 9 math class for you.
See, I get that through line, but I feel like there's a couple of missteps there.
Because the grade 9 math curriculum was like none of the math that he uses in his work. He was a tool and die teacher.
What do you learn in grade 9 math applied?
I don't know because he didn't teach it to us, Cameron. I literally do not know. To this day, I couldn't tell you what I was supposed to learn in grade 9 math because
that's fucking incredible.
Didn't get it. I didn't receive the education.
Oh my god.
I don't have a grade 9 math education.
Oh wow.
So, what we did for the entire term was he was like, okay, well, like this uses math. We're gonna build a boat out of cereal boxes.
Oh, you told me about
So
this.
you have to like measure it out and like build it to scale. And I actually still have the fucking boat to this day because I was actually one of I think 2 kids who actually finished my boat. Most of the class
Wow.
we worked on it the entire semester. He was like, okay, so I think that you can do this in like 15 periods.
What?
The entire semester. It took us the entire semester for a grade 9 applied math class to build a boat out of a cereal box.
Our education system is fucking stupid.
Oh, it was so busted, Cameron. That was also the year we had EQAO testing, which
great.
to those outside of Canada or out of Ontario even is like, it's basically just so that schools can have bragging rights about how smart their students are. It's mandatory testing, but it doesn't affect our grades or report cards at all. Just the province tests you on your curriculum to see how much you've learned, to see how well your school is at teaching.
It's how they test literacy rates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was fun because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any
Fucking
of
beats me.
I don't know any of this.
So 2
I sat for the test and I was like,
6.
wow, we were supposed to cover area and volume this term? Fuck it, I built a boat. I don't know.
Yeah. So the area being the ocean where my boat goes on. Is that what we're talking about? And she's like, no.
This isn't I know how to make a sail out of canvas.
So you want to do the surface of the water.
I could cut a
when
triangle.
You put the boat on it.
I could cut a isosceles triangle. I know that one. Isosceles?
And then she looks and is like,
scalene?
That's an acute triangle.
She's like, that's an equalateral square. I don't know.
That is a rhombus.
That's a trapezoid. You fail. But no,
could not be further from a triangle. You were saying.
But Emily and I kind of bonded over just like the insanity that was grade 9 math, and like building this fucking boat. So one day I'm sitting in class and we had these like long, cause it was in like a workshop. Like we didn't have like a classroom. It was like a workshop.
Yeah.
And we sat on these like stools and I was sitting in front of Emily. So I'm sitting in my stool and I hear this like voice talking about how hot Carlisle from Twilight is. And at the time the movies hadn't come out. The first Twilight movie hadn't come out yet. That's how fucking old I am. This is pre Twilight movies.
Robert Pattinson wasn't even alive.
We didn't even know who the cast was for the Twilight movie was yet. And I hear this person just like talking about how hot Carlisle is, and I'm like, we don't even know what he looks like. Like, I'm sure
you don't even know him.
I'm sure he's hot because you imagined him to be hot. Like, he's a figment of your imagination. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who is this person? And I turned around and it's Emily. And I kind of like looked at them like,
you're like, Twilight?
What are you talking about?
I talked about it.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And now they're one of my oldest friends.
That is a very Little Sam thing of you hearing that.
No, it's also not Little Sam because I didn't chastise them.
Okay, because you make it sound like you got angry about it.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I was genuinely like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, actually, what are you talking about?
Just out the gate.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The movie's not even out yet. You don't know what it looks like. Was that just you during all of high school? Like you were just such a little ball of anger.
Little ball of anger. Yeah. I was mad at the world. I was pretty mad. But also not, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I would love to have somebody that I went to high school with on, just like randomly. Just flip
street?
through my yearbook and be like, this person. Do you want to come on my podcast? Tell me about myself.
You know what we should do call-ins. We should like get like a burner phone and see if we have like, because like my contacts go back, like I have like 200 contacts on my phone.
Wow.
And like people who I never fucking talk to anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I got their number in high school and I've had the same SIM card / number forever.
Yeah.
So we should just like ring them up and be like, hey, you're on the Show's About podcast. Like, could you tell me about Cameron Smith? And they'd be like, who the fuck is blue? And you just hang up.
Yeah. But no, like, what the fuck are you talking about, Emily? Turned into, hey, so how about this teacher?
Yeah, hey, do you want to be best friends?
And like, I remember because like that was the year that The Big Short happened. but I don't know how else to describe it. That,
like in real life.
That like financial crisis, because it was like I was in high school from 2008 to 2009. I was in grade 9 from 2008 to 2009.
Yeah.
So I remember like our teacher, Mr. LaFond, was like talking to us about like, he was like, hey, do you guys hear what's going on in the States right now? And he like explained the financial crisis to us, and we were like, dude, this is grade 9 applied math. This is all like
for a second I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, that big financial crisis was happening. So our teacher was like, I lost everything. Like just like in class, and everyone's like, my boat is done, sir. Do you want to take a look at it? And he's like, I don't give a fuck about your boat. My wife left me. All my investments.
I had a real boat. It just got repoed by the bank. Do you have any idea what kind of morning I've had? God.
Fuck. Fucking brats.
Put on a fucking video. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
We're watching Liar Liar. I don't care. Or Big Fat Liar. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
They're both movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very different, but they're both movies. No, but like, and then like, he would explain the financial crisis to us, and I would turn around to Emily and be like, do you understand what the fuck he's talking about?
No, but he seems really upset.
And they'd be like, no, but keep him talking. We're like half an hour into class, and I don't want to do any work.
We got another 45 minutes to burn.
Yeah?
Just keep asking questions. With that being said, so you mentioned how like one thing led to another with your friend group. It's the same thing for me, actually.
Okay.
So my first, in my friend group, my oldest friend is Brad.
Yeah.
But through Brad, I met Steve, who is another one of my oldest friends. Actually, it's kind of funny. So through Brad, I met Steve. We're all part of the theater group, along with Alen, another one of my closest friends. The story of Alen is kind of funny because like Alen was always sort of on like
the fringes.
The fringes a little bit, but then like over time just like was consistent in his like enthusiasm of like wanting to be friends.
Yeah.
So like we were all just
like, very Alen.
Just come here, bro. Like, yeah, like we're bros now. Like whether you like it or not, you're fucking you're in it, bro.
Yeah.
I actually knew my buddy Cole from a different friend group.
Yeah.
The cool kids. Oh my god.
That's right. He was in with like the hockey bros and stuff.
Yeah, because I played football and he played hockey, and we were all, that was all, cyclical and whatnot. Yeah. But then through time, when we kind of split away, Cole reconnected with Steve, and then now the rest is history.
Kind of like molded together.
And then the only one who actually didn't go to high school with us was Anthony. Who was a friend of Cole and Steve's.
Oh, he's a friend of Cole's too.
Yeah, from elementary school.
Okay.
Before he moved to Toronto.
Okay.
And then grew up there and stuff.
Actually, you guys kind of brought Tony into the group like when I was dating you. Because I remember you guys didn't hang out with Tony that much.
Well, no, we hung out with him,
and then like just as we started dating.
Well, that's not entirely
Steve's
true.
Bringing his friend Anthony. Really?
No, I've known Anthony for like. As long as I've known like Brad and Steve.
Okay.
Like I've known Anthony for at least 9 or 10 years.
Okay.
We hung out in high school whenever we could, but he lived far away.
Yeah.
And none of us drove, Toronto, so like we couldn't like get him to come.
Yeah.
But I remember because we had this moment where we had a group chat, myself, Alen, Cole, Brad, and Steve.
Yeah.
The 5 of us.
Yeah.
And we always like would make plans, and someone was like, oh, and also Steve invite Anthony.
Yeah.
Like just because we like him. So bring him on.
Yeah.
And then one day I actually brought it up. I was like, guys, what do you think about just like throwing Anthony in the group chat?
Yeah.
Because like we always invite him to stuff and we love talking to him.
Yeah.
So invite him. And then we did. And then now like the rest is history.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That was like probably 5 or 6 years ago now.
Okay.
But yeah. No, I've known him forever.
Just kind of brought him in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gotten really close to them over like the past couple of years in terms of like, again, like 5-6 years. And when he joined the group chat, like talk to him more frequently.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've always known Tony.
Okay, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, no, my friend group has taken on so many evolutions. It's so interesting to think about because like as long as I've had these friends, we've had a group chat. It's almost like the group chat is kind of like the anchor that like signifies who we talk to. So it's like, okay, so at first it was me, Emily, our friend Allie, and our friend Haley were kind of like the core. Mm-hmm. We would hang out like outside of school. Those were the people I hung out with, like had sleepovers with on the weekend and all of that stuff. And then
exactly. Did all your experimenting with them? Keep talking.
Fuck you. And then at school, I had like my misfit buddies that I hung out with at school, like my friend Logan and our friend Kiera, just like people, because like people would like, we rarely had classes together, like me, Emily, Haley, and Allie. So like, or sometimes like me and Allie would have a class together, and then we would meet somebody in like English class, and then we'd be like, hey, this is where we eat lunch. Come eat lunch with us if you don't have anybody to eat lunch with.
Sure.
So kind of like we would find people who didn't have friends or people to eat with, and we'd be like,
You were the misfits.
we were literally the misfits.
You were the island of misfit toys.
Yeah. We would find people, or we would find like two people who just like ate lunch, just the two of them. We'd be like, do you guys want to hang out and eat lunch with us?
Them.
Like we eat lunch, because like at my school, not everybody, it was actually really unpopular to eat lunch in the cafeteria.
Same here, yeah.
Because
kids did it, but
it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was also
like
yeah.
the ninth graders would eat in the cafeteria because that was, you didn't know where to go.
Well, yeah.
You didn't know.
And it's
like,
also, it's a new experience,
an area, and
right?
it was a new experience. You're like, I guess like this place is like built for eating, so I guess I'll just go eat here. But then as you got more comfortable at the high school, you would branch out, and like kids would eat all over the school, or you would go out for lunch because we were downtown, so there were like restaurants, like good places to get food from.
Our hangout
which
was
is something I loved about my high school, is that there were so many good places to get food.
For sure. Can I also just say a real small comment? There is no sentence that better describes a high school cafeteria than, I guess it's designed to eat here.
Yeah.
You know, like it's sort of a place to eat.
Because like our school, because your school had like a dedicated theater. My school had a cafetorium.
We had two. We had a cafetorium and a theater.
Yeah, no. We did not have that. We had a black box theater, which was where drama classes happened.
That's cool.
But we did not have a dedicated theater. We had a cafeteria with a stage at the front that was actually mostly used by student council for their bullshit events most of the time. So it was just kind of like multi-purpose. It's just this like weird like multi-purpose room, like purgatorium type place. So if we like found somebody who was just like, you know, sitting on the second floor, the third floor by themselves, then you have a class with them, be like, hey, we eat here on this floor. And it changed every year depending on like where our lockers were. We would just like, we would non-verbally choose a locker to hang out at, and then wherever that was where we ate lunch for the rest of the year.
Wow, nice.
We'd be like, we eat lunch on this floor, come hang out with us. Grade 10, it was the basement. Grade 12, it was the fourth floor. And then fourth floor moved into our writer's craft teacher's classroom because she was cool with us eating in there, and it was like private, and we had desks. So like it was like a table that you could eat at.
We're not eating on the floor anymore, boys.
But it was just us. We were the only people who did it.
Totally.
So yeah, and our friendship just kind of like grew from there. So we had this like huge group of like misfits who all like came together to be like nerds and shit like that together. And then like we would get added to the group chat, and then as you know, friendships sort of fizzled out after high school, people would come and go and more people would get added, and now we've sort of had our like concrete adult group chat friend group that is sort of like solidified.
That is a big difference between mine and yours group chat. Your group chat's a bit more of a revolving door.
Yeah.
Like you've actually had like people leave and join.
Yeah.
Like our group chat has literally only ever had people join.
Yeah.
Like no one who's in the chat has ever left.
You guys are like the Hotel California of friends.
Yeah, because once you're in, you can never leave.
You can never
even if you
leave.
want to.
Yeah.
And we're always listening to at least a 7-minute long guitar solo at all times.
At all times.
It's grating.
It's like once you join the friend group, it gets like implanted in your head. You like put a computer chip that just like plays the Hotel California guitar solo forever.
Welcome. Fuck!
Just like in the webbing between your thumb and forefinger is like a chip that plays the Hotel California guitar solo.
You're like,
what's going on? What's going on?
You can check out anytime you like. But it's true what they say. You can never leave.
Yeah, no, like people have sort of like, you know, friendships fade, but we've sort of like decided who the core friends are now.
Yeah, who's left?
And now we just kind of like, we got each other all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Actually, with that said, an interesting question you posed before we started recording was like, so you obviously have your core group, you have your found family, your friend, your group chat. Do you have other friends outside of that group chat which like are expressly for interests that you don't necessarily share with your core group? Like, how exactly do we word it? Like, do you have different friends for different aspects of yourself?
Yeah. For sure. Like my core friends are like my family that I go to, but I've got friends from like theater.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
I guess they're like work friends. You know?
Now they are, yeah.
Yeah. I also have like my coworkers from like past jobs that I've had. Like I've been very fortunate to make really good friends at the jobs that I've held. And I still have like those people that I talk to.
Yeah.
You know, like we'll share memories about jobs that we've had, or like there's always like a moment at my jobs where like, you know, there are no customers and you really get a chance to talk, like have a real talk with a coworker of yours. And it kind of like bonds you in a way.
Totally.
And then I'll just like talk to them about things revolving whatever we talk about that whole time. Like I have like a friend that I made at work that I talk to about like mental health, and like we'll check in with each other and be like, hey sis, like how's your brain going?
How you
like,
been?
Yeah, how you been?
How you doing?
Yeah, and like keep each other updated on how our lives are going. And then like there's another friend that I made at work who very similar. I didn't realize how similar we were until like this year when I started like living my life for myself, that we both were at a stage in our life where we had so much potential and we weren't really tapping into it. And this year we've both, it's also funny because we share the same astrological sign. So we're like, ooh, like Capricorn power. Ooh, go Capricorn sis. I see you, glow up. But no, like, she wanted to get into journalism, but she was dating an asshole and like was kind of stuck in that kind of rut.
That would happen.
Which is totally natural. And she kind of like got herself out of it. And I'm really happy for her. There was this relationship that she was in that was holding her back. And I was kind of holding myself back and didn't even realize it. And now we're both thriving.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I'll like tweet her and be like, yeah, good for you. Like, blah, 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 career stuff. Good job.
And, you know, it just goes to show that, listen, you want to get forward in life, you got to dump your shitty ex-boyfriend.
100%.
You know?
Everyone.
At home?
There.
I'm talking to you.
I wish I was wearing my break up with him sweater right
I
now.
know. wish you were too.
Yeah, all the time. But yeah, I definitely have different friends for different things. I also have my friends. I made 2 really good friends when I went to university in Toronto for a year.
Yep.
Shout out to Sabs and Manders.
I kind of flipped off the camera.
Wow.
I meant to do this.
Tell me how you really feel.
I swear to God, I meant to do like this with my fingers back here, but I just ended up flipping off the camera. Yeah, so fuck you, Sabs. I would never. I love those girls. Yeah,
no. And they're kind of like, they're the ones that I go to with like girl problems. Because like
your pussy stinks. Like, yeah.
Cameron, I know that you're joking, but literally we'll text them at 2 a.m. and be like, my pussy stinks.
Why are my tits
like,
so low?
They're like, girl, I'm going through it too, man. Like, tell me about it.
Pussies be stinking, yo.
Yeah, pussies be stinking.
That should be the title of this episode.
Pussies be stinking.
Pussies be stinking, yo.
Toby's gonna open his phone and be like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna skip this episode.
I'm going back to listening to this at 0.75 speed because I can't listen to this.
For those who don't know, Toby is Sam's colleague.
Yeah. Who's an adult white man.
Yeah, who's
with like 2 children.
Very dignified.
Doesn't want to hear about this.
Listening to our podcast.
He has a PhD. He's gonna be like.
You ever think about that? Where it's like we make this like garbage podcast where we talk about fucking whatever and swear and shit, and we have like people who like are like respected industry professionals who are like, oh, I like those 2. Like I'll listen to their podcasts, and then like, what?
Episode 84. Pussies be stinking.
Pussies be stinking, yo.
Disgusting.
What is our brand?
I'll figure it out.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
You're talking about pussies being stinking, yo.
We were on topic that whole time, yes. But yeah, they're my friends that I talk to and I'll be like, hey, so my body's doing this weird thing and I'm kind of freaking out and I'm kind of worried about it. And they'll be like, girl, don't worry. I went through this last week and let me tell you, it sucks, but you'll get through it.
Right.
I go to them with like the real shit, like the disgusting, gross aspects of life.
Like I found a scorpion in my shit. Like, how did it get there?
How did it get there?
And they're like, girl, I've been there.
Listen,
scorpion shits?
I read a Jezebel article the other day. I'm going to send it to you. Don't you worry.
they covered this whole thing.
It's totally natural.
Totally natural to find
fine.
a live scorpion in your shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I when we went through something early in our relationship that was like really tough and like kind of was like a make or break moment for our relationship. And I texted them that whole time. I was like, guys, I just don't know. Like, this thing is really pissing me off, and I really like this guy, but I want to make it work, but I don't know what to do, and I just need to vent. And they were like, lay it on me, sis.
Right.
You come here and you just like, and like our group chat exists in WhatsApp, where you can send like longer voice notes than in like Facebook Messenger, which limits you to a minute, which also like, what the fuck, Facebook? So I would send them these like 9-minute voice texts just being like, and fuck this and fuck that and this is fucking stupid and I'm pissed off and I hate everything. And they were like, yeah, fucking preach, girl.
Girl
like,
power.
Yeah. Oh, let me just say, cis men love making fun of the like, yeah, like fuck him, girl power. You're gonna kick him in his fucking nutsack. But actually,
That's real. It's real.
Having a group of friends who hype you up like that makes you feel invincible.
Of course.
It's the best thing.
That's how men feel all the time.
Yeah. Literally. Like, that is why men have the audacity.
Yeah, totally.
Literally. Because they do that for each other. And it's the best to have those friends who just like, no matter what, like they're the friends you go to when you just want to be right. You know? Like, it doesn't matter how wrong you are always right with these friends.
And because what's good about friends like that is that like a true friend will let you do that.
Yeah.
Right? Will let you get it all out.
Yeah.
And then like get your fees out and like peak and reach those highs.
Yeah.
But then like come down low and be like, all right, so like you were really right about these things, but we gotta kind of like, and you're like, yeah, I know, I said some whack shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I know.
Yeah.
I know I said some whack shit.
Yeah.
Like
literally.
it is whack.
Literally.
But like the stuff I'm mad about is valid. Like, oh yeah, it's valid.
Like I've started voice notes to those girls before and been like, hey, so like I know that this is not correct and I know that I have some biases here that are gonna come through, but I just gotta say something the wrong way and then we'll backtrack and figure it out the right way.
Totally.
So fuck this bitch and fuck her and this is stupid and I was right about this and no one will listen to me and the world is insane. And they'll be like, okay, that was glorious.
Okay.
Thank you for going off, sis. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, how do you really feel? And I'm just like, it's just so hard. What I really want to do is this, that, and the other thing, and it's just XYZ won't happen. It's pissing me off. And they're like, okay.
It's okay.
And they also,
You are so brave.
Sabs and Manders have their BAs in social work, so they're really good to talk to.
Yeah, I was about to say, like they're really they're all in this.
Yeah. They're like, okay, so what you're telling me is that you feel this way. Could it possibly be because this thing happened and it's triggering you in this sense? And I'm like,
yeah, I think so.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much.
Totally.
Yeah. No, they're the best. They're the best.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I've gone to them with some real shit, like some real
stinky shit.
Sabs gave me the best advice the other day because I was like, yo, I am so tired of like TMI alert, by the way. I am so tired of like wiping my ass forever.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it. And she
Been
was
there.
like, girl.
Can relate.
She's like, girl, remember that watering can I used to keep beside my toilet at my old apartment? That's what you got to do. Or get like a water bottle and like cut a hole open in the top of it and like use it as like a makeshift bidet. And I was like, thank you so much. My ass has been clean ever since.
Cleanest ass in Canada, perhaps.
It's been the best.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I couldn't be that open with like my frustrations about the dirtiest aspects of my bodily functions, I wouldn't be cleaner for it.
You're better off.
Thank you to that friend.
Thank you, Sabs, for cleaning my girlfriend's asshole.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down that road and back again.
Travel down the road to clean my ass.
Yeah.
No, actually, total side note on that. Something that's really interesting. Somebody's pointed out to me. So it's like bidets are a thing, right? Where you like spray water up into your ass.
The best thing.
You know, and it's really great. Like, you know, everyone loves a bidet.
Mwah.
You ever think about how like all we do to clean our assholes is just like take a piece of paper and wipe it? Like if you got poop on like your finger, you wouldn't just take a piece of cloth and wipe it off.
And be like, I'm good.
No, you'd wash your fucking hands.
Yeah, you'd wash your fucking hands.
Why don't we award that same courtesy to our buttholes?
And it's just North America too. Bidets are quite common in like the most like low-income households in other parts of the world.
So you're telling me that most people in North America have stinky buttholes?
100%. Yeah. And it's like, it hurts too. It hurts to just like wipe your ass with a piece of toilet paper until it's clean.
Well, I mean, especially, it hurts?
Yeah. Think about how
What, are you
much
using fucking construction paper?
think about how much work it takes, like to really, if you really dedicate yourself, which I do, by the way, to like.
I don't
really
think anyone
cleaning.
is saying that you don't.
But like, I'm just saying, I take a lot of time to make sure that toilet paper comes out white.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of wiping. And like things get drier
Sometimes
as they
you get
go
blood,
along.
yeah.
And never blood. But I just feel so like raw afterwards, and you get that like dry, like papery feeling between your butt cheeks.
You're walking down the street and you're like,
yeah. And it just like give me a bidet.
yeah, I've been there.
Actually, we went to Harbor 60 for your cousin's birthday
I
one year.
know.
And those bougie toilets have a bidet in them, and they have like seat warmers. Like Harbor 60 has these like
Well, it's like solid gold toilets. Yeah, it's like
solid gold fucking toilets.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is glorious. My butt feels clean because I use the bidet function. This should be everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Actually, they sell these like things, like attachments you can attach to your toilet, and it like is attached to the water tank in the back. And you just, like, connect it.
Little bidet attachments?
Yeah, little bidet attachments for your toilet that I really, really want. But then it's like, you know, I don't live alone, and other people use my toilet. So I would have to explain to the people I live with why there's a toilet bidet attached all of a sudden.
And I can't see that going well.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Which is stupid.
But
just normalize washing your ass, please. It feels so good.
Get some soap, stick it right up there in the shower.
It feels so good.
You know?
Yeah.
Listen, there's no better feeling than a clean asshole.
I will say, every shower has one water stream that is perfectly aimed at your asshole, and I suggest you find it.
It's like an ass-seeking water stream.
I highly suggest you find it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do the work.
There's sometimes when I'm like washing my hands, or you'll be in the shower, and I'll just hear like, and I'm like, oh, she must have found the stream.
It's by no means pleasurable. It's just comforting to know that your asshole is clean. It's nice.
It's
really
a warm
nice.
feeling.
Yeah.
Chill spot. Clean your asshole. Feel at home.
But back to friendships. Do you have different friends that you go to for different things?
I do. It's funny because the way you broke it up was not the way that I think you broke it up. You sort of compartmentalized your like emotional and interpersonal life in terms of who do you go to and friends. All of my different friend groups are all dictated by the interests we share.
Right.
So like we have a group chat with our Drag Race friends.
Yeah.
I have 2 different D&D groups, and like our main core relationship is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And here's another example. Like not so much anymore, but when Game of Thrones was on, like all my old roommates and I would like
talk Game of Thrones,
start chats and like, you know, like riff about Game of Thrones and like talk about how the 8th season was ass. And you know, like that's just how it's always been. And I have to say, like, I want to make myself perfectly clear. And like for those listening, I know a couple people in these groups listen to this podcast. I feel just as strongly about those friendships and relationships as I do about my like core friendships.
Absolutely.
Like I think that I would be like almost just as sad if I was to lose these like interest friends than if I was to lose like a core friend.
Yeah.
You know? And like I make it sound like I'm putting them on levels. I'm really not. It's the same playing field, different spots on the playing field. That's kind of how I personally envision it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Every player is important, but they serve a different role.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I really love that about having these different interests, you know? Like I have friends in this group who don't talk to anyone in my core core group, but we're still all friends.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's really, really cool to have that relationship.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, no, like, I like how well, first of all, you have more hobbies than I do. So it makes sense that your different group chats are related to like the different interests that you have. But yeah, no, like, I think it's cool that you have your Drag Race conversations and then your Dungeons and Dragons conversations. And then like we've got our Discord where we are a totally different version of ourselves. But a very real version of ourselves. It's just, I don't know. It's fun, and technology makes it so much more possible and so much easier to be the different parts of yourself and participate in them. Yeah, and yeah, no, it's sick. I love all my friends.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting, right? Because something I've been trying to do in the last couple of years, and I've mentioned this before, so I'm not going to beat this horse into the ground, is just be more emotionally open.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Share more.
Typically, like just in general. Like, I really do mean like with any time it comes up, because I always defaulted to like, well, this person probably won't care, or this person probably isn't interested,
or this might be oversharing.
I'm always so afraid of oversharing. I've known many oversharers in my life, and they're always the talk, you know, and like I just don't want I don't want that smoke. But what I have been trying to do in that regard is like something that definitely 100% isn't oversharing. And I feel like if you're struggling with friendships and emotions in your life, like take this advice, I think it works, is to just say how you're feeling in simple terms, right? Like a couple of sessions ago, many weeks ago now, it was Jen's game that I'm to the second D&D group I'm part of. And we were having some technical difficulties in terms of like getting everything set up. And I just spoke up and was like, yeah, I know we're here to like play D&D, but like, I just like spending time with you guys.
Yeah.
You know? And like that, it wasn't this like fucking like moment where everyone was like, oh yeah, you know, like, oh, we're real friends. But like those kind of sentiments when they pop up, and obviously don't like say them like a million times, don't have to be annoying about it. But like just speaking your mind in that regard has changed everything about my friendships.
Right.
Because I think that I used to think that so many things were implied. And so many things were just like known.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to say things. You have to say things out loud.
I get that, because that could be a situation where like, you know, you're having your technical difficulties and say like Jen is trying to figure things out and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry guys. Like, oh, this is so frustrating. You can hear her like panicking. And you might be tempted to say, oh, it's okay. Take your time. It's really okay. It's really fine. But that extra, like going that extra mile and sharing and just saying like, I really just like hanging out with you guys. Like that's comforting. Yeah. For the other person to know and everybody else to know.
And you know me, I'm big on comfort. My whole goal in any social situation I'm in is to make, I don't want to be the source of discomfort.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable.
Because you guys do, like you play Dungeons and Dragons. You get together to play Dungeons and Dragons to spend time with these people.
Yeah.
Because you like spending time with them and you just
exactly
happen
right.
to have this mutual interest.
The game is what we do, but the experience is spending time with these friends.
The quality time is what you crave. So as long as the call is connected and you can talk to each other, then that's enjoyable for you still, and that's 200%. Nice to know. And it's good to let other people know that, and I'm glad that you shared that with them. Yeah, because that's the stuff that people want to hear from you.
And also, like with my own friends, like I've been telling my friends I love them more, like in general, for the past couple of years, because I think that it was always something that was like, again, something I figured that was implied. But it's like, well, why though? It didn't have to be implied. No. It could just be said. Yeah. And I feel this way. Yeah. I certainly don't feel like I'm trying to convince anyone that I feel this way. Absolutely. I just want to say that I feel this way. Yeah. You know? And it's something I've been ending off all group chat conversations, because being in the pandemic, we have to be more digital with our friendships. I end off every group chat conversation with talk to you tomorrow. And I will talk to them tomorrow because we're in group chats. Like, and all of these group chats that I mentioned, like my D&D ones, the drag race one, the core ones, every single one, these update, like my group chat with your friends, Squid and Brad, like these are group chats that update daily. Yeah. So I'm pretty comfortable with being like, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Yeah. And
you'll hear from me tomorrow.
And that sentiment, in my opinion, is like, I want to talk to you tomorrow. Yeah. Because we're friends. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think just expressing that and being open and speaking those things aloud has strengthened all of my relationships. Yeah. And it's helped me, because I've struggled with anxiety in regards to friendship like pretty much my entire life. And it's really helped me get better with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to plumb the depths a little bit more of what you just said. What do you mean when you say you've had anxiety in regards to friendships? Like, what are some of the anxieties that you've experienced throughout your life?
My whole life up until recently, and by recently I mean like 2 or 3 years ago. I've never felt like I was really genuinely close to anybody. I always sort of felt like I was the fringe friend. Like I was always included in stuff because I was in these chats, but it was never like a reason. Like I never was anyone's like best friend, you know? And I always felt like I made people mad or annoyed or bothered, like all the time. But that's just anxiety, man. That's just like fucking poor mental health talk.
Yeah, because I mean, like, anxiety is your brain lying to you, and I gotta say, Cam, like, on the outside, you seem like a really beloved person, and like, when other people talk to me about you, it seems like you are so popular. Well, that's like, you are so, and like by popular, I mean like well liked. You know, and well known.
That's nice of you to say. Thank you. It's hard to rectify that in yourself.
It's just like, it's strange to me to think that you seem like somebody that is an afterthought in people's minds when you know, like people have had huge parties at your house because they want to come over to your house because they know that your house is fucking popping all the time. Pre-pandemic, your house was like the spot.
Right.
You know, it's all tricked out. It's got all the consoles. It's got all the food, all the good snacks, all the drinks and stuff like that. And then there's you. There's you and your brother and your parents who are such genuinely nice and generous people that people are drawn to you. It doesn't make sense to me that you're the type of person who people would see as sort of like a fringe friend because people are so drawn to you.
Right.
You know?
Well, no, it's like, okay, put it this way. Like, again, I want to make myself perfectly clear that this really is just like lies and shit, mental health,
yeah,
right?
Like we all fear that our friends aren't really friends with us because of who we are.
Yeah, it's like, do my friends hate me or do I need a glass of water? You know, like,
do I just need to go to sleep?
Oftentimes you just need to go to sleep or get a glass of water because dehydration fucks you up.
Yeah.
Like, and like, more on that in a minute. But like, okay, so like, I would always lie to myself, like, okay, for a long time, my friend group, I was the one with the Nintendo Switch. And a big thing with my friend group was playing Smash Brothers together. It's how we bond. It's how we spend all of our time when we're together. It's playing Smash Brothers. It's our favorite thing to do. Like, without a doubt, our favorite thing to do. And I am the one with all the equipment. You know, I always say I'll bring the Smash Box, is what we call it, my Nintendo Switch, because it's the one game we play all together on it.
Smash Box 20.
Exactly, the Smash Box 20. And like, I would say horrible things to myself. Like, if I didn't bring the Smash Box, like, maybe they're like, well, then why am I here? Right?
That's very mean.
Right? It is mean. Of course it's mean.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that it's mean.
I just want you to realize that, like, now that you've said that out loud, like, that makes no fucking sense.
Well, especially because I've hung out with all of my friends individually, like, for extended periods of time for, like, many years. Like, the thing with anxiety, and as you know more better than anybody else, anxiety and poor mental health is that it doesn't matter how much proof you have.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, anxiety will always find a way around it.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, I never really acknowledged that I struggle with something like that. But I really do. I'll be honest with you, it's not like, I don't think it's diagnosable, but like, it definitely flares up. It flares up for specific things. And relationships and friendships has always been something I've been anxious about. Because I never want to feel like it's finding the perfect balance of being a friend.
Yeah.
And I've just basically acknowledged that that doesn't really exist. And you can only just tell the people you love that you love them. And then like be there when they need them.
Yeah.
And like spend time together. And that like your friends, when you're not with them, aren't being negative about you. That's a lie that everyone tells themselves. They think their friends are talking shit about you. And if they are and you find that out, they're not your friends.
Yeah.
But real friends don't do that.
No.
And that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah. And, you know, luckily, I think we've both been fortunate enough that, like, as we sort of solidify who our friends are, we've sort of eliminated that.
Definitely.
There's no need to do that. I haven't really talked shit about my friends in years.
Well, I'll talk shit about my friends to their faces. We riff on each other constantly.
I mean, there you go.
But that's part of our like love language in a way.
Yeah.
We also let me make myself perfectly clear. There's a big difference between like.
Well, you don't talk shit about things that people can't change.
We also don't talk shit about things that we know they're sensitive about.
Yeah.
We most of the time will bring up dumb scenarios, which then escalate into so far from reality that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like fucking.
You and Brad told a really funny story about me one time when we were hanging out in Brad's car when it was safe.
Yeah.
You because Brad and I have this joke about how like Brad's your girlfriend and I'm just like a side piece.
Exactly. It's not a joke.
And like I want to kill Brad because I'm jealous and like get rid of him. So like,
not a joke.
but like you guys told me, you guys made up this whole scenario about how like, because like when we hang out in Brad's car, I sit in the back seat behind Brad and you sit in the passenger seat and then Brad's driving obviously. So like you told this joke about how like I would like Mortal Kombat style like reach through the seat and like rip out Brad's spine and like Kamehameha him and then just like look at you and like walk away and just, leave.
But then we don't break up.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
We don't break up afterwards, but we just like leave Brad's like decapitated corpse like in the parking lot and it just like blows over that I killed him 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you make stuff up like that.
That's the kind of shit that
like
we talk about.
That's sick shit.
That's all of our bits as a friend group.
Yeah.
That's all the shit we talk about that makes us laugh.
Murder.
Murder and just extreme circumstances. Like,
yeah.
You know, like instead of like what's not funny is like a real fight where someone gets punched and hurt.
Yeah.
What is funny is, I don't know, my mom coming downstairs and being like, you didn't take out the trash, and grabbing me by the collar and throwing me through a table.
Yeah.
Because, like, that'll never happen, and that image is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
your itty bitty mom picking you up by the collar and, like, throwing you into the ping pong table.
Like, ah! You know, like you fucking get tossed across the room.
Or, like, one of my favorite personas that I love that you make up about your friends is that, like, because your friend Steve can be, like, kind of aloof sometimes. So I love this, like, persona that you've made up for Steve where he's this, like, he also wants to be a director. So
he is a director.
Like, that's true. He's this like drug addicted, like sex, drugs, and rock and roll like director. Totally. This like Tarantino-esque like madman.
We always joke about him and his ex-wives. Yeah,
like makes all of his ex-wives' lives hell and like dates every single co-star or every single star that he casts in his films and like rips through women like the seasons.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make that perfectly clear. That is all a joke.
Like you blow it. You like blow it way out of proportion. You like build this like persona around Steve that he's this like sex, drugs, and rock and roll fucking director guy.
I think our friend group revolves on like the whole idea that like there's the notion that it's funny because it's true. We operate on it's funny because it's not true, but it is believable. Like and that's where our comedy sits. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's great. How is that? How your friends have like? Did your friends build your sense of humor? Like that like bit that you came up with about your mom like throwing you into the ping pong table. Did you guys like figure out what was funny together?
Well, because we've been friends for so long, like, and then the way our group operates is that like if someone thinks of something funny, they'll say it out loud. Yeah. And then you sort of just let the bit build, right? Like someone else will chime in, someone else will chime in. We're all very like, and as you know, we're all on the same wavelength in terms of quickness, and we all did theater together, and we all did theater classes together. We all did improv classes together. So we're very snappy, quippy people, like pretty much all the time, right? I actually had to tell my friends one time where it was like someone was like, you know, sometimes like when we hang out with the girlfriends, I feel like they don't like chime in as often as like we'd like them to. Yeah, because they can't get a
word in edgewise.
Well, that's what I told him. I was like,
literally impossible.
Because like I was like, guys, you understand that sometimes we go off at such a pace that is like not a conversational pace, like, you know. Yeah.
I've literally like had ideas. Like I've been fast enough to think of an idea, but it's just like you guys are so comfortable with each other. Exactly. That like by the time I can like find a way to get in, or like I'll say it and you guys just completely talk over me. Like you just like I will have a good joke and it's like somebody else is talking at the same time that I am talking. Yeah. Like I can't get in there because it's hard. You guys are just so comfortable with each other.
You got to be quick, man.
I am quick. I cannot say enough. I have been quick enough before. But you guys are so comfortable with each other that you're not listening to anybody outside of the group.
Yeah, sometimes anyway. Yeah. But that's again something we've like we talked about and was like, all right, guys, like we can't just like hole up. We can't just wall up when all of our girlfriends are around. So
there's a learning curve.
I think things have gotten better.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
To learn how to play with girls.
Yeah, how to play nice with girls. Yeah. It was a boys' club for so long, Sam. You don't understand. There's no girls allowed. Okay. And then I started bringing my girlfriend around. Yeah. I broke that rule.
Yeah, exactly. No, my friends definitely influenced my sense of humor. I mean, like, I have my own sense of humor for sure. But knowing what my friends find funny is very interesting. It's also changed so much. Like, when we were kids, it used to just be like Gooby memes. Do you remember like Gooby and Dolan
like
memes?
Dolan and Gooby, yeah.
Yeah, those gross fucking things.
Yeah, like that's evolved into
that was like peak humor. Like the newest Dolan meme would like send us into fits of laughter forever. Right. Forever and ever. Or like we would watch that clip of Dumbledore going, "Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" Like we would like laugh at that for like ever and ever.
And those are huge. Evidently, those were huge on Tumblr.
Yes.
Which is like where you guys operated.
Tumblr humor. Yeah. Tumblr humor was huge.
Which let me tell you, like if you're like, don't get me wrong, when I used to love Dolan Gooby memes too. Yeah. Because Dolan would always say fucked up shit. Yeah. And like it was always like, whoa, they're like Donald Duck, but it's MS Paint, it's edgy. You know? Yeah. But like from the outside in, like there are some times where like in our relationship you've shown me something like this stuff that you should laugh at when I was a teenager. And like I I don't get it. I'm not trying to say that it isn't funny. I literally don't understand.
Yeah.
There are some times you'd be like
you can't comprehend it.
You'd be like, show me this meme, and I'll be like, what does that mean? You're like, it's a supernatural thing or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like I don't
understand the super Hulak humor.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't there when DashCon happened. You weren't there for the Mish Apocalypse.
You weren't there for DashCon. You weren't there for the Benedict fanfics.
You weren't there. You weren't there when John Locke was confirmed. Except it wasn't. It never was.
John Locke? What's that? Oh, is that John Watson and Sherlock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People wanted them to date real bad on that show.
But they also do some queer baiting on that show, don't they?
Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
Such bad queer baiting.
Yeah. So come on now.
Some of the worst queer baiting in television history on that show.
I've only seen the first series.
All I know is the like if there are like marks around your charging port, that means you're an alcoholic memes. Because in the first Sherlock episode, he deduces that somebody was drunk when they plugged in their phone because there were like marks around the charging port on the phone, so they like struggled.
Ooh, I must be an alcoholic.
Which means that exactly. That's the joke, right? Is that like everybody when they're like grasping in the darkness to plug in their phone before bed has like missed the charging port. You do it when you're stone sober.
Everyone's been there. Totally. Yeah.
I've like been looking at it completely sober and like stuck it in and missed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Like what's next? You're gonna have struggle putting in a USB and
but in the episode it was like oh my god, he unearthed like a huge clue.
That's
what up guys? Editing Sam here. I'm here to tell you that I'm going to cut this part out because I don't care about BBC Sherlock. You don't care about BBC Sherlock. Nobody here cares about BBC Sherlock. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay? Gotcha. From there. Mm-hmm. So now as I'm like trying to get into comedy writing and I'm like looking to outside influences like professional comics and TV shows to like find out what I think is funny, I go back to that Tumblr humor that my friends and I had back in high school, because that was the stuff that really had me like gasping for air.
Totally.
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day. I sent it to the memes on our Discord. Here, I don't have my phone on me.
Yeah.
But it's like the Tommy Pickles pickup truck.
Oh yeah, they made a line of like toy cars
that look like cartoon characters,
inspired by the Rugrats characters, and Tommy's is like a blue cab. With like
do you have your phone on you?
With like a white dump truck back on the side of it, but like in the dump truck part of it looks like Tommy's shit.
Yeah, but no,
because it's supposed to look like Tommy's diaper.
I'd like to read it, but do you have your phone around?
No, I don't have my phone on me. Just forget about it.
Well, whatever then.
But yeah, no, it like literally looks like Tommy's dump truck ass is like made into a car. Just
the wording of the tweet was so funny.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love my friends for that.
Yeah. So much of my growing up development has been because of my relationship to my friends.
Yeah.
And I think about how like they've all like
almost
done
had
that.
a hand in raising me.
In a way, right?
And like I've raised them in return.
Well, exactly. I feel like if you look back on your friendships with these people even 2 years ago, like how different it is.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
I've noticed like maybe because we're all going through a pandemic, but I've noticed such a change in my friends.
Yeah.
Big time.
But I also feel like, and this is sort of like I guess our final note before we end the podcast, because we've been talking for like an hour, 15 minutes, is this pandemic has proven to me that these people are going to be friends for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This pandemic was a nut up or shut up moment for all of us.
We had to decide who we wanted to keep in contact with because it was just so exhausting to reach out. And like, like a Zoom exhaustion is a thing, video chat exhaustion is a thing, and the fact that these are people that I was like, okay guys, like we need to hang out with each other, let's have a video call, but like no pressure to like be on like the face, we're just gonna hang out, like you can play your games and then I'll be watching TV and we can like talk about something, but we don't have to be like talking all the time. It's just a presence.
It's about being in each other's presence. Totally.
Yeah.
And something for me, and again, I mentioned this a couple podcasts ago, so again, I'm not going to go fucking off on it or anything, but like general reaching out more and like showing express interest where it's like beforehand, I never really texted my friends ever outside of the group chat because we saw each other a minimum.
We saw each other
a minimum every weekend. At least once a week.
Yeah.
The minimum once a week. Like more than likely like 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Like be it on the weekend or weekday, whatever.
Yeah.
I was always seeing my friends. So we always kept up by just talking to one another,
Yeah.
like being in each other's presence. But obviously the pandemic has changed that. And I had to sort of change my behavior in terms of online interaction and be more present. But I think, again, it goes up there with like speaking your mind more and like being honest about how you're feeling, where it's like that is such a positive change in my relationships.
Yeah.
You know?
It also, it's so interesting because like we've lived with our parents this entire pandemic and seeing them navigate their friendships, because I feel like our parents saw friendships a lot differently than we did. Not better or worse per se, just differently.
Yeah.
And our parents definitely kept in contact with people out of sheer service, or not service. How do I put this? Out of habit, I guess. Before the pandemic, where it's like, yeah, I guess it's been a while, so I guess I should go have lunch with this person. I guess I'll, go to this person's housewarming party or whatever. But now that we have to like decide more, I see who our parents choose to talk to, and I'm like, oh, these people are important to my mom or your mom or your dad. Like the people that they talk about missing, I'm like, oh, like the other day, so unfortunately one of your mom's friends' fathers passed away recently.
Very sad.
And it was very sad. And your mom and her friends, who are friends with this woman, got together to like get her a gift certificate to be like, order some takeout on us when you're ready, because, you're not going to feel like cooking and we don't want to force a meal upon you.
No, definitely not.
So I was like, what her friend had to come over to collect like her part of the money for the gift certificate, and they stood in the doorway, socially distanced, masks on, all that stuff.
Very careful, totally.
Very careful, talking for a lot longer because it was the first time they had seen each other in months. And I was like, I didn't see this person around that much before the pandemic, but just like the natural way in which they carried on a conversation, because it had been so long since they had seen each other. And I could tell that seeing her friend made your mom feel so much better. I was like, oh, this person is like important to your mom. Like this person matters.
It's more than just like a frivolous, like, oh, we know each other, so like come over for wine to hang out, I guess.
Yeah.
No, like they're
genuinely
they feel
friends.
The same way we feel about our friends with their friends.
Yeah, yeah, and like they had to come together to pull a project together, which is getting a gift certificate for their other friend. Like these people really matter to our parents.
Totally.
And it's like it's I think we're going to view other people's friendships after this pandemic a lot, like we're going to hold them in higher regard.
Definitely.
Because if you were friends with somebody through this pandemic, that's your friend for real.
Yeah, that's the real.
Like you chose to maintain a connection with this person after being separated from them for, I'm going to say 2 years at this point, because we're not going to see a vaccine until the fall. Fingers
Definitely
crossed,
not,
if everything goes perfectly according to plan, which it never does. So like, 2 years of this pandemic, and this is the person that you're still friends with, that's for real.
Yeah. That's the real. I mean, like there's that you put it perfectly.
You chose to have this person in your life. And like you were saying earlier, like how it's solidified that like these are going to be your friends for the rest of your life. If you can go something like this and still come out as friends on the other side, like before this pandemic, I was comfortable and strong in saying that my friends that I have right now in my life, like Brad and Sydney and Emily and Conrad and I said Sydney already, and all those people, they're my friends for real. But as soon as this pandemic like cut me off from them and I wasn't able to see them as often, I was like, no, I need you in my life. I need to have consistent communication with you and to be able to see you more often. And the second that I can, like, I'm never letting you guys go. Yeah. It's just like, no, like you are in my life forever.
Totally.
And I will say, like, the one silver lining of this pandemic is that it's shown me that. And I'm so grateful
to have the people that you're grateful for in your life.
To have the people that I know in my life, and to know that I love them, and to know that I want them around, and to have that choice and to choose to have such wonderful people in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like all of my relationships that I have kept up with in this pandemic have gotten stronger. Even like my parents.
Yeah. There are also those friends that surprise you.
Yeah.
Like our RuPaul's Drag Race group chat that you and I are both in. Like those are two people that I certainly liked a lot
well, of course,
before this
yeah.
pandemic, but I didn't talk to them. I didn't talk to them that regularly.
We talk on the daily.
Now we talk on the daily, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and through,
I love that.
Through talking about our favorite queens and, you know, like arcs that we liked and didn't like, it's shown me things about them that I like. And I'm like, oh, in this time of forced communication, I choose to talk to you. And that's saying something.
Yeah.
So, like, you're a friend too.
Yeah.
And that's
So
really cool to learn.
could we cap off this podcast by saying that, like, good friendships take effort
Yeah.
and cherish your friends?
Yeah.
You know? Like, understand that your friends are not just people in your life who you want to spend time with. Like, it's not that shallow.
No.
Or at least it shouldn't be, in my opinion, that shallow.
No.
And be thankful if you have people in your life who care about you.
It is as important to find true blue, honest to goodness close friends as it is to find true blue, honest to goodness spouses and romantic partners.
Exactly.
I think that the two have way more in common in regards to building those relationships than we give them credit for.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Friendships hold so much power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're my best friend.
You're my best friend too, my love.
And that's gross. And I don't like that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna be gross on camera.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
And this is a great podcast. So thank you so much for listening to the Chill Spot Podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
We update every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yes, we do.
You can find us on all sorts of social services, all sorts of streaming services.
All sorts of social services.
Where we need to be. Anywhere you find podcasts, you can find the Chill Spot Podcast, as well as YouTube. And if you watch on a platform that has reviews, drop a review. It would be very, very helpful.
So much. Thank you.
Be sure to leave a comment. Leave a comment on today's YouTube video about your favorite story involving your best friends.
Yeah.
We'd love to read them.
We'd love to hear that. Let us know on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on a Twitch stream if you drop in on one of our Twitch streams.
Twitch.tv/chillspot.
Twitch.tv/chillspot. And we'll see you next time, everybody.
See you next week, guys.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Love ya.